I really didn't put too much thought into this game today. I think, it was more about when I played against the Boston Celtics last time, it was more about being in that arena, being in the Garden more so than, playing against the team. It's a whole new team, whole new coach. But I didn't really put too much thought in about this being the last time playing against the Celtics. Just approaching it just like pretty much every other game. It won't be as emotional for me because of the simple fact, I won't be in the Garden, a place where I was able to play a lot part of my career and, do some really special things in. It's pretty much a different feel, today than it was being in Boston.
As this season goes on and you get closer to the end, how are you just kind of emotionally preparing yourself for that day when it's a wrap?
Well, I don't think there's no way to emotionally prepare yourself for that day. It's definitely something that I've been thinking about a lot more lately since the clock is winding down on the season. There's only a number of days left and then the playoffs. But, there's really no real way to prepare yourself for it. When it's happening, you're just going to have to realize that it's over. And, I'm mentally, been saying this just before the season started, so I guess in some way I probably already have mentally prepared for the end, but I don't know how it's going to hit me once that final game hits.
You spent a ton of time working with the young guys this year, Diamond and Bryce. I know they kind of nicknamed it Paul U. How have you embraced your role as the mentor, the elder statesman with those guys?
Well, it's been fun for me, just sharing a lot of what my experiences have been throughout my career. And, you see these guys come in and they went down the ear and, they're learning how to be a pro. And, for a guy who's played a long time in this league, I like to just, be a guy that kind of share, some of the things that it takes to, maintain in this league, to survive in this league, because you got to understand each and every year there's going to be new players, and I've seen guys who come in and don't develop the right habits from the beginning, and, pretty soon they're out the league. So, that's just what I try to share with the young guys, as they come in, because I've seen a lot of guys come and go. So I just try to share my experience. I try to share with them what it's going to take, to be able to maintain in this league, to sustain some type of longevity, and teach them good habits. And, that's some way of me giving back to the game of basketball in my final year.
Paul, Draymond kind of just says stuff.
Who?
Yeah.
That's not a subject today.
How do you feel? Is it tough to be the older, to try and relate to younger players? At least some of them that may not have the respect, that may not, have the regard for the older brethren than that used to be.
I'm a different type of person. I really don't care. I mean, truthfully. If the other guys respect or not, it doesn't bother me one way or another. So, as far as what he's saying and stuff, it don't bother me. It's no different than somebody saying you're not gonna make the NBA, you're not gonna be this, you're not gonna be that, you're not, this stuff, that stuff. If it bothered me, I wouldn't be the player or person I am today. So, words don't hurt.
How do you get to that point, though, Paul, where it doesn't bother you as a player to hear that or any other kind of disparaging kind of comments?
That's just the way I was brought up. Like I said, to get to this league, a lot of negative things have been thrown my way. I'm a one in, I don't know how many millions or billion chance to make it to the league out of all the players. So, you have your fair share of criticism, and, I think, that's what made me who I am just in life in general. I never let the critics get me down. I never, let the coaches or the writers or the reporters say things bad about me. I never let that get me down. I mean, it just motivated me more. You know, maybe that's just the way I was brought up. You know, something maybe I get from my mom or brothers and just the people I was surrounded by. You know, you come from a tough area when you grow up. You know, you can easily get stepped on, left behind. But I think, you know, a lot of people who are raised in my family just know that, you know, times is going to be tough. People are going to say stuff about you, and you got to, the way you come out as a person is how you move forward, you know. And so little things being said, little things being done don't really affect me. You know, I have tunnel vision. I'm just trying to just keep pushing forward and just not be fazed by all this. You know, I'm still gonna move the same way I move. I mean, I'm still gonna do the same things, whether, you know, people like it or not.
Do you see that as maybe one of the connections that you have with an Isaiah Thomas, that kind of that backstory that don't really get into what critics and others say about you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, at some point, man, when you make it to this level, you're going to have critics. I mean, you're talking about the ultimate level of professional athleticism of basketball. So I'm sure everybody in this room has been through something, you know, and you know, the ones who go even further continue to dismiss those distractions and reach a level that they, you know, probably one day dream about and being a superstar at this level. And so, you know, a guy like Isaiah's had it his whole life, being he's a short guy trying to play a big man's game. And so the critics were probably always there since the beginning he picked up the basketball.
What's the most important piece of advice or something that you learned as a Celtic that you would pass on to someone who else who's going to be kind of the face of the franchise like Isaiah is right now?
Always have respect for the game. Always have respect for your teammates and organization. You know, and in saying that, I mean, you know, when you're a face of a franchise, you hold huge responsibilities, and it carries on far beyond basketball. You know, you have huge responsibilities not only to the organization, but, you know, I try to tell these guys, your family also. You represent a number of people. So, you know, my word of advice is just respect your position. And if you do that, then everything else will fall in place and you won't be a subject to negative press all the time, maybe sometimes, but press that you don't really need.
I know mentally you said you've gotten used to the finality of this. Have you gotten used to almost the celebratory side of it? They got the truth headbands, and I know on the road they've got fans behind the bench screaming for you. Have you kind of embraced that side of it?
You know, I ain't really expect no farewell tour. You know, I mean, I didn't expect that. You know, I just, you know, for me to come back, you know, I'm enjoying what goes on, you know, behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see. You know, being in the locker room, stories with my teammates, the playing, you know, the dinners on the road. That's the stuff that I'm enjoying the most. You know, practice, you know, whenever my opportunity, my number's called at the game. You know, so it's cool, you know, people get a chance to recognize what I've been able to do, see them in the stands, or, you know, like you said, the headbands. I mean, I think that's all cool and dandy and all, but like I said, I didn't really expect a farewell tour. I mean, this is my farewell tour is my time with my teammates, you know, and soaking that up, these last moments with them.
Paul, Kobe's last year probably reset the bar by which a last season could be measured, but how have you made sure it hasn't been a distraction in this locker room or on the road?
Like I said, I'm not getting the same reception as Kobe is getting, so there's no distraction. You know, there's no people coming in here with documentary cameras and, you know, thousands of people at the hotel. You know, that's not what's happening. So it's far from a distraction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I might wear this.